Good morning, and thank you for joining us for SBB Live. I am your host and the publisher of Seniors Blue Book, Amanda Barton, and I am delighted today to be joined with Paul Weisman with Green Palms Health and Wellness. How are you doing today, Paul?
Doing great. Yourself?
I am doing so good. Thank you for asking. And you are a physician. I should have addressed you as Dr. Paul Weisman. My apologies.
That's okay. Most people call me Dr. Paul.
Dr. Paul, it is. Now, you are in the medical marijuana business. Tell me what changes have occurred, if any, during this pandemic.
It's been quite interesting how we've had to adapt. One of the things people will notice is the dispensaries, a lot of them are doing more deliveries. They're doing curbside pickup, trying to limit the people coming in and out. There's been a lot more people using their medical marijuana with the amount of stress that people are having. New patients are still being seen. Old patients are still being taken care of. We were a little unsure what was going to happen with the governor with the emergency declarations that allowed us to do telemedicine for our current patients, but that's gone through and that's still in place till May 15th.
Great. And how are you actually seeing new patients at this time?
Yeah. We still continue to see new patients. We see people on the West Coast in the Naples, Bonita Springs area. We see people here in the Plantation Davie area and in the Boca area. We've actually moved to a very interesting concept. We have a drive-up service for new people. All new people must be seen in person by the doctor. They can't be seen by telemedicine. So we see them, they come up in their cars. We set up a tent or the ambulance we use, our little ambulance. And people can stay in the comfort of their car, wear their mask. They can be 6 feet away from the doctor, see the doctor, get everything done that they need to get done, all their paperwork and everything done legally. And then what we do is we move the education to a Zoom call so we can educate people, because that takes about a half an hour to do a proper education.
And I think that answers my question about seeing current patients. You don't physically have to see current patients after they've already gone through their process. You're able to do that through telehealth. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that's correct. If someone already has their card and they've been in the system, then they're my current patient. We can see them through telehealth, which is really nice. I get to see actually where everybody lives. People are very grateful for the call to talk to somebody. Some of my patients actually live alone. I spoke to a lady last week that hadn't talked to another person in 5 days. So the telehealth is really helping us reach people on many, many levels.
I do think that this is going to change how we all do business in the future, and it gives us a chance to reflect and take some of these positive vibes with us and how we do things. And I think telehealth is, it's a good thing it was introduced a little bit ago, because it sure is coming in handy now.
It absolutely is.
I know a lot of people are fearful of, being exposed to COVID-19. Debunk the theory that COVID-19 and smoking marijuana are even remotely associated with each other.
Perfect timing. I actually just received about an hour ago an email debunking the COVID-19 and medical cannabis relationship, the negative relationship at that. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, you started seeing things in the paper and the news. The FDA was starting to get on the bandwagon, and they were worried that the irritation or smoking marijuana actually put you at greater risk for COVID-19 symptoms, mortality, and things like that. As it turns out, as of today's article that literally came in an hour ago, it does not. And the FDA has walked back their statement, which is really good. So we have people using vapes. We have people using flower. Now, again, anytime we put anything into our lungs, it's an irritant. It doesn't matter if you're smoking marijuana, if you're standing next to my diesel truck, it's still an irritant. We've all had the experience of spraying something in our house or one of the scented candles or scented something when we started coughing. That's an irritant. But that's a local irritation, but it does not seem that as of now that it increases any risk with COVID-19 or the amount of sickness you'll endure.
Okay, glad we got that out of the way. Are you seeing an increase in your patients' stress levels when they're dealing with isolation and just the stress of maybe losing their job even?
Yeah, the stress levels on most people are very, very high. People are socially isolated. They're out of their routines. They may have lost their financial gains through work. Plus they may have children home now. They're homeschooling and doing things like that. We always see, the memes that are going around that are pretty funny, day 2 of homeschooling, kids in detention, teacher thrown out for drinking. So we're always seeing memes like that, but in general, people are adapting pretty well. What's very interesting is the medical marijuana patients have come to use medical marijuana as a last resort for other things: anxiety, chronic pain, sleep disturbance, a lot of other illnesses. So they've been dealing with things like that. Now, yes, they need to readjust their medicines. We've added new stresses. A lot of people are adding more CBD to their regimens during the day to try to use it as an anti-anxiety. Their sleep may be disturbed a little bit, their sleep patterns. And so a lot of people are changing their formulas around, but they have the tool, which is really great, and the medicine to do this. And through the teaching we do with everybody, it gives them the ability to adjust.
Now, speaking of financial hardships, because I know that this is affecting all of us on some level, is there something that you can do for your patients that need their medicine, but they've unfortunately been laid off from their jobs?
Right. So what we do with Green Palms and MMJ and the concierge cannabis centers that we've created together is that, one, we've always had a sliding scale. It's on the honor system. We don't check. So we've always had a fee scale based on, for certifications and recertification, based on your gross household income, and the less you make, the less you pay. Now we've added another layer to this. When people have financial problems, they just let us know, and we work something out to make sure they continue to get their medicines. I don't know if you remember Wimpy, the old "I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today" cartoon, but that's sometimes what we need to do to help people. We have people with cancer, sleep disturbances, MS, chronic pain that have just finally gotten off their narcotics or off their sleeping pills. And the last thing we want them to do is backslide for financial purposes, to go back to a narcotic or a sleeping pill or not take anything. So, we're working with everybody best we can to help them get through this. This is a crisis for all of us.
And that's fantastic, because some of the memes that I've saw that I have found to be quite humorous are about alcohol.
Always.
I bought my 2 weeks worth of alcohol and it lasted 2 days kind of meme. So it's a good thing to have a natural alternative that can be some sort of anti-anxiety that doesn't leave you feeling like crap the next day, right?
Right. And there's problems with addiction, alcohol addiction, narcotic addiction. We don't see that same type of addiction with marijuana and medical marijuana. Yes, if you use too much, you can have some addictive qualities. You can have some psychological addiction, but the toll that alcohol and these narcotics take on your body is just tremendous. And there's no real redeeming qualities. And people are using it as an escape to get away from the stress, instead of dealing with the stress and then being able to feel better and then go walk or go exercise or read a book. So the medical cannabis has much more advantage in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I thank you so much for coming on today. I know you're a very busy man. I appreciate you taking the time to educate us on what's going on with the medical marijuana industry. You're a fantastic resource. After this is uploaded, I'll make sure everybody has your contact information. And I do want to give a shout out to the girls, Jill
Absolutely.
and Dawn, for sure, for setting this up for us today. And I just want to thank you again for joining us for SBB Live.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having us. Remember, we're going to have different phone numbers for the East Coast and the West Coast. It's just the way our administration is divided up. And I promise you, hopefully by the next time I'll have shorter hair, because we're all going to the buzz cut, it looks like.
Yeah, you may learn to do that yourself, right?
It's going to DIY, right?
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Dr. Weisman. I appreciate your time. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.